welcome back to my channel. I'm Jess. Today I'm coming to you with the Booktube Newbie tag. So I feel a little bit of an explanation is required here because this Booktube channel is over a year old, and so it seems a little strange that I'm doing the Booktube Newbie tag. However, although I posted the first video on this channel over a year ago, I did a total of about 3 or 4 and then stopped. So that's why the Booktube Newbie tag is coming now. I think the reason I stopped was I was filming at the time in the summer, and same as now, I work in schools and so I have the summer holidays off, so I have all this extra free time to film videos and do more reading and think about content and ideas for videos. And then when I go back to school, it all gets a little bit crazy, and I have to bring a lot of work home over the evenings and weekends, and it ends up just getting pushed out. But because it gets crazy and because it can kind of overtake your life a little bit, I want to make sure when I go back to work this time that I make the time, I carve out the time to dedicate to this channel as a little bit of fun and a different focus from outside of work for me. So I'm going to make a really concerted effort when I go back to carry on, and hopefully this won't be the last of me because I'm going back next week. This is last week now, and so fingers crossed I'll be able to continue with the videos and keep uploading regularly, so we will see. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? So the first reason is to make connections with other readers who are as enthusiastic about reading as I am, and to be able to have discussions about books. I don't have many people in my groups of friends and family who are as enthusiastic or as avid readers as myself. I have very recently started a book club, so with friends and family, so that to encourage them to read a bit more and just to have the opportunity to talk books with some of them. So that's been really nice, but this is just another way to make more connections around reading and with other readers. The second reason is I am a massive advocate of reading. Again, working in primary schools, I think it's really important that we promote a love of reading from a really young age, and it feels a little bit like that reading's dying a little bit, especially reading real books, and I want to, this channel is a chance for me to inspire people to read, and I think that Booktube in general has been that inspiration. And I don't know whether it's just because I'm consuming this content and I'm surrounding myself with people who enjoy books, whether that's following booktubers or publishers and authors on social platforms, but I feel like there is a revival happening now, and there's more people talking about their love of reading, and it's becoming, the mainstream media are becoming more and more aware of it, and that can only be a good thing. And you can see how many people it's brought back to reading later on in life when they've fallen out of love with reading, or they never really got into it when they were younger, so that's fantastic. And it really saddens me more and more I hear from the young children around me that they don't enjoy reading, and so to be part of a community that's promoting reading and showing how enjoyable it can be is really exciting for me. So that's why I've started the channel. The second question is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? So nothing really, I just want to come and join in with the fun that's already here. However, I'd like to make my theatre reviews quite a regular thing on this channel, so there's that perhaps. Then, what are you most excited for about this new channel? So for me, I'm really excited about the opportunity to acquire and learn lots of new skills, whether that's specifically around reading, so reading more critically, being able to speak more succinctly when reviewing books and thinking about breaking down books and the themes within books, etc. But then also all the other skills that surround it, so learning to make and edit videos, photography, speaking in front of a camera, public speaking, all of those are the skills that in just this one platform I can improve on and get better at just through practice and watching other people and how they do it. So that's what I'm really excited about for this channel. Why do you love reading? So I love being completely absorbed by a book, so I love fiction and getting swept away with a story and being really invested in the characters and wanting to know how it all turns out. So I love that about reading. I also love learning from reading, so whether that's non-fiction books, which I do, I read a lot of non-fiction, I love non-fiction as well, but also learning from fiction books, so learning new vocabulary and new language, but also learning facts from fiction books. So I really enjoy when I'm reading a book, if I'm not sure if that's true or whether that's been pulled from real life, then I'll go and research it and find out if that's a fact. So I really enjoy doing that. I like to make reading very immersive, so if there's a song that's referenced that's really key, then I'll go and listen to that song, or pieces of artwork that's talked about, I'll go and have a look at those pieces of art. I'll recreate a meal from a story, so I like to really engulf myself in a story, and so that's why I really love reading. Another thing which I've really been enjoying doing, and this is quite a recent thing, but I've done it for a few trips now, is using fiction as a travel guide when I'm visiting a new city or a new country. So I'll take books that are set there or written by the author from that city or from that country, and use that as my guide. So it might make reference to a street there or a building or a key event that took place there, and you discover the city through that instead of the normal travel guides and the top 10 things to go and see. So that's been really great, and I've been really enjoying reading in that way. So next question. What book or book series got you into reading? So I read lots when I was little, and I had lots read to me. And one of the stories that my mum tells is there was a box of books at the church that we used to go to, and I'd obviously had read to me the same book over and over again, and so I had memorised it, and I was sitting reading out loud the book that I had, and a lady commented that I seemed very young to be reading, because I was about 2 or 3 at the time, and it wasn't that I was reading, it was that I'd memorised it. But so I've always had books in my life from a really young age, reading them and being read to. And one of the series that got me into reading was Enid Blyton's The Famous Five, and that was a series that I shared with my dad, and it would be like my bedtime story, and he would read a chapter and I'd read a chapter. So that definitely got me into reading. We also did that with the books from the Chronicles of Narnia, and then I also really remember loving Please Mrs. Butler by Alan Alberg and some of his other poetry collections. So those are some of the books that got me into reading when I was younger. The next question is, what questions would you ask your favourite booktuber? So I've thought about this question a little bit differently, because I have lots of favourite booktubers. So instead I've thought about, who would I ask to my Dream Booktuber Dinner Party? And so I've collected together the booktubers that I'd like to invite, and I've thought about what would they be bringing to the dinner party and what questions I would like to ask them. So for my Dream Booktuber Dinner Party, first of all, we would meet in Edinburgh, and the first person I would have on my list would be Jean from Jean's Bookish Thoughts. And before we sat down to dinner, we would go on a tour of Edinburgh, and Jean would take us on a tour and show us all the literary highlights, and then I could be asking her about her favourite Scottish authors and her favourite places in Edinburgh. So that's how we would start. And then I would ask Lauren from Lauren in the Books to the the Booktube Dinner Party. And I love watching Lauren's videos. I think she brings such fun and energy to all her videos, and she really reminds me of 2 of my cousins, that whenever we get together we just laugh the whole time. So I think she would add lots of laughter and fun to the dinner party, so I'd invite Lauren. And also she gives great affordable fashion advice, so perhaps I would speak with Lauren before the Booktube dinner party to make sure I was wearing the best outfit. So yeah. Then I would ask Jen Campbell, and Jen Campbell would be there to entertain us with all the true gruesome versions of fairy tales, so she could story tell to her heart's content, because she'd have a table full of story lovers. Then I would like to ask a book olive from a book olive, because I'm reading War and Peace at the moment, and I have to keep skipping over the names because I don't know how to pronounce them. So I just kind of skim past them. So she would be able to help me with the pronunciation of the names. Then I would like to invite Simon from Savage Reads. And again, Simon makes me laugh in all of his videos. And I love all the books that he recommends, all the books that I've picked up from his recommendations I've loved all of. So I would just be sitting there asking him about his current reads and what he would recommend. Then I would invite Emma from Drinking by My Shelf because she'd come up with all the best drinking games for the dinner party. I would ask Carl Anderson from Lonesome Readers to discuss all things Man Booker because he loves the Man Booker review and I really enjoy that prize. Then I would like to ask Alice from the Book Castle, and I think Alice has the most beautiful aesthetic on her channel, so I'd like to be able to pick her brains about all things editing and how I could get a really lovely aesthetic for my channel. I would also ask Steve Donahue, who I would be asking endless technical questions about writing book reviews, as he seems to be a fountain of knowledge, and I would also ask him about where he's been travelling, and this is in reference to a video he did, which I can't remember what the video was. I think it was one of his book tag videos, and he was saying that if you asked him, have you travelled to, and then the next place that you say is not Australia or New Zealand, then the answer is yes. So I would like to ask him that question and see if I can find another example where the answer isn't yes. So for example, Steve, have you travelled to Stafford? So I would like to have Steve at the party. Then I would ask Helen Jepson because I just love her accent, I love her voice, and I could listen to it all day. So I would just be sitting at the dinner party listening to her lovely voice. Then I would ask Mercedes from Mercy's Bookish Musings because I love how she's not afraid to disagree and to have controversial opinions. So quite often she'll talk about a book that everybody's loved and she's really clear about why she didn't enjoy it, and she's not afraid to have that different opinion. So I think she would be really helpful in making sure we had some good heated debates at the dinner party. And finally, I would invite Sophie from Portal in the Pages because I love her reading taste. I love the way she speaks about books. I like her balance of fiction and non-fiction, and again, she's just someone that I have a lot of faith in her recommendations, and our reading tastes seem to align. So the books that I do pick up that she recommends, I tend to love too. So those would be all the people at my Dream Booktuber Dinner Party, and those are some of the questions and things that I'd like to ask them while they were there. So that's my answer to the what questions would you ask your favourite booktuber. And then finally, the last question is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? So I think the editing will be tricky, but like I said before, I'm really excited to learn that skill, and I'm feeling confident that I can tackle that and improve, and it might take me a lot of time, but I'm excited to get involved in that. I think for me, the biggest challenge to overcome is going to be my habit to procrastinate. So I'm a terrible procrastinator, which is why it's taken me a year to film the Booktube Newbie tag. And so I'm hoping that this isn't the last that you see of me, and that I can continue with my plans to post more regularly and really get involved this time in the Booktube community. So those are my answers to the Booktube Newbie tag. I'd love to know, if you were going to host a Booktuber dinner party, who would you be your dream attendees? So please let me know in the comments below who you would invite and why, and what you think they'd bring to your dinner party. And I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.